Hi, this is Dr. Pachenik, and I want to talk today about the 49 Muslims who were killed by Breton Tarrant, a 20-year-old Australian who went to New Zealand on March 15th and killed 49 Muslims in two mosques in Christchurch, New Zealand. Why did he did it, and why then? The then is easier. Number one, Brenton is a very effective terrorist. He knew exactly what he wanted to do. He's rational, he's calculating, he knows how to implement a terrorist attack. He knows that the most important part in terrorism is not the act itself, but the amplification of that act. And he trapped the media right into its jaws very effectively by telling them exactly what he was doing, when he was doing it, and why he was doing it. All of his rationalizations were nothing but rationalization. The real reason he was able to do it is because he wanted to do it. The second reason why he wanted to do it is because the leader of New Zealand is a woman, Jacinda Ardern, who's 38 years old and the head of a progressive party. He knew very well that she was weak, ineffectual, and really represented the new wave of the millennials who couldn't do very much in the real world of terrorism. Furthermore, he knew New Zealand did not have as effective intelligence and police force as Australia would have. The Australians would have picked him up very quickly. They would have known exactly what he was doing and where he was going. Instead, he went to New Zealand. He went to Christchurch, where in New Zealand, a population of 5 million, about 500,000 are living in Christchurch, 50,000 are Muslims, and they live in this area. He knew that he could kill them and effectively create a terror scenario which would go all over the world, and the press bought it. The real issue, however, is not the fact that he could do it, it did do it. The real issue for me as somebody involved in terrorism, as a psychiatrist, I knew fully well he was trapped by one dynamic, and that dynamic was called projective identification. What do I mean by that? It doesn't excuse him, but it explains something about a fat, chubby, little freckled-haired kid who was mocked and berated by all his classmates and including his father, who then he had to lose weight and become a physical athlete. This was the man who killed 49 people. So in effect, what he did was to projective identify with those 49 people who have been abused and slaughtered, and at the same time, he did what he's done all the time. He could not avoid that dynamic, and we call that repetition compulsion. He kept on repeating that fear and insecurity that he had. Does that exonerate him? No. I feel that a terrorist should pay the sentence. For me, that would be the death penalty. But in turn, I feel that New Zealand, Australia, and the United States has to come back to understanding what real terrorism is about. Not 9/11, which was a false flag and buildings were taken down and there was no real war on terror. Terrorism exactly is what you saw, the video amplification of people getting killed, and it's the video amplification and the double-bind situation where the internet becomes the magnifier. So are we prepared for the United States? No. We have 16 intelligence services, two of which love to propagate their own image, and that is the FBI and CIA. I have never found them very effective. The second thing I found exceedingly effective was the Israeli intelligence service. In terms of counterterrorism, they are very, very effective. If you want Muslims, then I would go to Turkey and Iran. They would also prevent any form of terrorism that occurs. As you saw in Iran, when the Pakistanis came and attacked southeastern Iran, the Iranians were more than happy to retaliate. The business of terrorism is a very serious business. We're not prepared for it. We have spent billions of dollars for these 16 intelligence services, yet I have to find one person who really understands the psychological profile or understands how terrorism could be effective. Let me quote Vladimir Putin, who said the following: "Terrorism has no religion and no nationality." With that, I bid you good night and farewell.